Will the next undercover journalists please stand up? You know, Charlie told me, the last thing Charlie said, he said two things. He said, number one, James, I want you to break 5 massive bombshells exposing the federal government a year. And when you go to AmFest, James, I want you to recruit the students to go undercover. So, raise your hand if you want to wear a hidden camera in 2026. Raise your hand. Hundreds of people. Will the real Jim Keefe please stand up? This was a Halloween favorite, by the way. How in the hell do they not recognize me anymore? And by the way, if I can do this with this ridiculous wig and these glasses and go undercover, what's your excuse exactly? Oh, they recognize me in my neighborhood, my hometown. Well, if James O'Keefe can do it dressed like this, you can do it too. And you can sign up, undercover journalist. There's the QR code, O'KeefeUndercover.com. That's O'KeefeUndercover.com. If you want to go undercover, and if you sign up, you get a free invite to our party tonight. So let's talk about this investigation. We exposed this individual, DEI government contracts, telling me about pass-throughs and breaking the law. And of course, I was dressed like this.
I tell you, pass-throughs are a great thing as well. So we bid on it for them. They became our sub. And it's an automatic win because of your Native American status. Isn't that exciting? Right? A lot of people don't know that.
I don't think anybody knows that.
And
we want to keep it that way.
That's right. That's right.
We want to
Exactly.
keep it a secret.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now, she's talking about money, $100 billion from the government, funding these DEI programs. It's against the law to sub out all the work, but she calls it a pass-through.
So ATI would be 20%, and the subcontract would be like 80%.
80%. Wow.
I don't know if we want to share that they do all the work.
No. So we do about 20% of the work.
20%.
Right?
That's against the law. The government says you can't do that. And then we actually did a cheers to this fraud. As I like to say, veritas is the Latin word for truth. I think we have a glass of, I don't think it's wine, I think it's grape juice. But we actually did a cheers to the pass-through.
And here's to pass-throughs.
There you go.
How about that? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. In vino veritas. Ain't no party like a Jim Keefe party.
Ain't no party like a James O'Keefe party. So, we launched this investigation. The head of the SBA suspends the contracts. The Treasury Secretary suspends all the contracts. But there's much other fraud out there we got to find. We confront this individual, and this is pretty funny how she responds.
My name is James O'Keefe. I'm an investigative reporter, and you're on video. And my question for you is, why didn't you bring up that this is illegal?
Doesn't have a good answer for that one. So there's much other fraud to be exposed. 4,300 of these contractors, 5% of the deficit, and I pledge to expose them all. Well, let's talk about something more recent, shall we? There's fraud everywhere. There's corruption everywhere, including in the universities. And this is another ridiculous disguise that they didn't recognize. This guy is talking to me about this James O'Keefe guy.
You ever heard of the guy named, his name is James O'Keefe. You heard of that?
Yeah.
What do you think of him?
Yeah, could be better. Could be worse.
Could be worse.
What could be better?
How could he be better?
Just, they'll be an asshole.
I mean, the disguise was literally dyeing my hair and nothing else. Again, if I can do this, you can do this on your campus. And then I tell him that I am James O'Keefe, and he refuses to believe that.
Well, the thing is that I actually am James O'Keefe.
Are you?
Yeah.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. I'm not James O'Keefe.
No, you're not.
And then, for reasons I do not understand, why do they always run away? Do you understand that you're being recorded? He's a professor of journalism at Georgetown, and like a scene out of Forrest Gump, He runs faster than he's ever ran in his life.
And you don't know that.
Whoa! Whoa, let's do a slow-mo on that one. Oh! He does a face plant. The Georgetown professor, he's running as fast as he can, and he falls down. And I was worried about him, so we went to CVS and got him some Band-Aids for his scrape on his hand.
You okay?
You know, I don't want to hurt anybody. But why do they always run? Why do they always run? All it takes is a pair of glasses, a $10 wig, pair of glasses, $250 million fraud, professors exposed. But you know what? It's not just the professors. It's not just the government contractors. This works. I met with people in the Biden White House. Literally, a pair of glasses. This guy works in cybersecurity. He was working for Joe Biden. He's talking to me.
So you work in cybersecurity for the White House.
I focused on like cybersecurity and technically cyber intelligence. But no, I'm not a spy.
My question is, what are you doing on a meeting with James O'Keefe? What type of cybersecurity operation are you guys running over there?
We're running a good cybersecurity operation.
Well, obviously not, because you're meeting with me. Did you not do your research? I mean,
I didn't have your last name. I just had James, and that was your name.
I literally posted my photo on Tinder.
By the way, why are they all gay? We'll get to more of that in a minute. I think next time I'm going to wear a t-shirt that says, "Smile, you're on hidden camera." I'm not kidding. I will do that. You watch. So many of you, I started in college. I was like you guys. I was 22 years old. A girl messaged me. She was 19 years old. She said, "Let's go expose this government group called Acorn." This is years ago. And we posed as a pimp and hoe. She actually dressed like that in the government offices, and she caught them on tape telling her how to disguise the prostitution ring. The camera was hidden in my tie, and this is what we caught on tape.
Is it against the law in Maryland? Prostitution?
Anything that the government's not getting money from is always against the law.
They tell us how to declare the prostitution ring on our taxes.
Make sure there's a code for it, okay?
A code for prostitution?
You might have to name it something else. Performance arts, let's see. Independent artists. You could be that. Dancing.
It's not dancing, trust me.
But dancing is considered an art. I mean, you know,
Sex is kind of like dancing, right?
Yeah, so...
Now I'm sitting there thinking, how much more outrageous can I possibly be with these people? And I think, well, what if I came up with this ridiculous hypothetical that I had underage prostitutes from El Salvador? Maybe that would cross the line and they'd say, that's illegal, get out of here, right? Maybe that would be the line.
There's going to be 13 El Salvadorian girls coming into this house, and they're very young, and we don't want to put them on the books.
Please tell me 13 underage Salvadorian sex slaves is the line.
You can use them as a dependent.
Okay.
You can use them as a dependent because they live in your house.
Are you kidding me?
It was not 60 Minutes who did this. It was not NBC News. It was not the New York Times who has defamed me and I sued them for defamation and won. It was not... It was not the Catch a Predator guy. It was a 19-year-old girl on a college campus in Florida who messaged me on Facebook and said, I have an idea.
You know who broke this story? These two. You're telling me the two kids from the cast of High School Musical 3 can break this story with a video camera and their grandmother's chinchilla coat, and you got nothing?
It actually was my grandmother's chinchilla coat. And it's framed in my office. Now, Acorn did an episode on Charlie recently. At the time, they did an episode on these videos.
All right, get out of here.
Huh? What?
I'm not falling for it.
But I heard Acorn helps pinching the bitches.
I've done videos my whole life exposing corruption and the absurdities and ironies of the human condition. Things have gotten so corrupt and so broken, it doesn't really take a lot except a little creativity and brass balls. This is exposing the border situation, dressed like Osama bin Laden crossing the Rio Grande.
He's back. Not bin Laden, James O'Keefe.
This border is not secure. No one is on watch. Even Osama bin Laden could cross.
One admiring website has a nickname for him, Osama bin O'Keefe.
We've posed as telephone technicians to expose politicians not answering their phone calls. They attacked us. They even arrested me at the time, falsely accusing me. I confronted the Democrats in Louisiana, and look at the look on her face.
Kirsten? Hi. James O'Keefe. Would you mind correcting the fact that you said I committed a felony?
Not happy to see me. And the memes that came out after this. My favorite one is the Nirvana cover. We've exposed the most powerful people in the world, Pfizer, BlackRock. Pfizer was very interesting because these were top officials at the company. I mean, vice presidents, the director of mRNA, who I'll show you in a minute. And again, why do they always run?
Vanessa.
Why?
Vanessa Gelman, I'm a reporter with Project Veritas. Miss, why did you send emails telling Pfizer employees not to report that you guys were using fetal cell lining, miss? What else are you hiding from the public? Miss, what else are you hiding from the public? The public needs to know.
She's never ran that fast in her life. We get our cardio doing this type of work. And the memes, I am not creative enough to come up with this.
Hey, she's a runner, she's a track star. She gon' run away when it gets hard. She can't take the pain, she can't get scars.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Well, we're going to get to this in a minute, but everyone's scared. Everyone's afraid. Are they going to hurt you? James O'Keefe, are you scared? I am not scared. I am having the time of my life. And I would ask you stop projecting your fear onto me and stop talking about it and start doing something, because that's what Charlie wanted you to do.
Hey.
And then we confront these demons. This guy is a director of mRNA at Pfizer telling me that they're mutating the COVID virus. And he's on a gay date with this undercover reporter who works for me. And you may have seen this. This is absolutely insane.
Don't tell anyone this, Billy. You probably don't tell anyone. You probably don't tell anyone. We're exploring, now, you know how the virus keeps mutating?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we're exploring is, why don't we just mutate it ourselves so we could create actively develop new vaccines, right? So we have to do that. If we're going to do that, though, there's a risk of, as you could imagine, no one wants to be having a pharma company mutating the virus.
This is crazy. I confront him. He says, no, I just lied. I'm a liar.
Bro, first of all, I'm literally a liar.
Then he says, I'm literally a liar. Then he says he was lying to impress his gay date.
I was trying to impress a person on a date by lying.
Because nothing makes your date hornier than bragging about mutating the COVID virus. I mean, these are the people that are running our medical systems. Everything has become fake and gay. We'll return to this in a minute. We released some Epstein photos recently. By the way, the Democrats tried taking credit for the work that we did. We released the chalkboard. We worked with the source in the Virgin Islands. The Democrats released the photos. They redact some of the images. We had already released these photos. I confronted him. Everything is fake and gay. By the way, what is this word dark brain? How is that protecting victims? Someone please explain to me that. Everything is fake and gay. By the way, I'm okay with some things being gay. I'm okay with some things being fake. But when you put them together, we have a problem. Going back to the Epstein photos, we released the photos unredacted on the phone next to his bedside table. We even released the names of the people on the phone. They redacted those names that work. And, you know, kind of going back to this whole fake and gay thing, if they can't shut you up, what do? They use the justice system to target you. And as you all know, I was raided by the FBI 4 years ago. I'm going to tell you something you may not know. This was the video of the raid against my colleagues 4 years ago, banging on the door at 6 a.m.
This is a search warrant. Open up.
So after this happened, this March, I said this in July to SAS, the administration did in fact release the affidavit in my case so we can finally see what the justification, the probable cause was to raid a newsroom. We're the only newsroom in American history to be raided by the FBI, and there better be a good reason for it. So I was very excited to see that probable cause. My lawyer called me in March and sent me the document 3 pages long. And I was very excited to see the reason why the Federal Bureau of Investigation would point guns at journalists in America just because they don't like what stories they're working on. And I opened up my email to the 3-page probable cause, and this is what I saw. In fact, the only thing not redacted on the 3-page probable cause was a footnote written by one of the FBI agents who put me in handcuffs, and it said, quote, I, at the FBI, have learned that cell phones are capable of sending emails. I hesitated to show you this photo. You might think, well, that's offensive, James O'Keefe. Why would you do that? Why would you say these offensive things? Well, when you've been through what I've been through, when you've been sued 50 times, raided by the FBI, arrested by the FBI, spending $5 million a year defending yourself, making lawyers rich. The American Bar Association is corrupt. It's a joke. You start to realize, because of stuff like this is a national disgrace. The Republicans have the White House, the Congress, the Senate, the Attorney General's office. You know what they say? Call Cash, call Cash, call Cash, call Pam, call Cash. You know Cash? Okay. I got Cash's cell phone number right here, and I'm going to call him and ask him why this thing is not redacted. Call Cash, call Pam Bondi, call Cash. It's a disgrace. We should be better than this. I'm going to leave him a voicemail. He seems like a nice guy. I've met him, read his book. I support him. Maybe it's the people who work for him that do this. But if you're the leader, you cannot stand for this in the United States of America. We need politicians with balls.
Forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up.
Hi, Kash Patel. This is James O'Keefe. I'm standing in front of 10,000 students at the AmFest. I've come to understand from sources in D.C. that there were confidential FBI informants at Project Veritas, the company I founded, and they were trying to sabotage my operation. I've also understand that the reason why this is not redacted is because the FBI, quote, wants to protect its sources and methods. It creates a constitutional crisis when you send FBI sources and informants to disrupt the newsroom. My right to see the sources supersedes whatever marginal privacy concern the FBI has for its sources and methods. I demand that you unredact this affidavit immediately for the public's right to know. Thank you.
In addition to exposing the corruption in the government, we're going to go on dates with all the people in the deep state, and we're going to expose them subverting the Constitution. I don't have time to show you all these videos.
He's terribly immoral, breaking every norm. We're going to resist him, everything he does.
But we tend to get all the people in the deep state fired for telling us things in private that don't match what they say in public.
You're fired.
You said you dated a Chinese girl?
We got a State Department guy on tape bragging about banging a Chinese spy. He was fired.
You're fired.
We got a guy inside the Department of Defense bragging about how he's trying to stop Donald Trump in the war room at the Pentagon. And I was the one who actually recorded this one. And he was fired.
you're fired.
Sometimes they run away from me, and sometimes I run after them.
Michael Giordano. Sir, he's got the Tesla.
I actually caught up to this guy in Los Angeles.
See if we can catch up to him. Hi, Michael. Watch out. Watch out. Hi, Michael. Discrimination on the basis of race, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act.
Vice President Disney, he was fired. This guy at the NIH.
We're here with the guy inside the
By the way, why are they always driving white Teslas?
We're here with the guy inside the NIH who's driving away in his Tesla. Listen, you work for the government. You know, sir, you're avoiding accountability by changing the words from race to ancestry. Isn't it true that ancestry isn't the same thing as race for medical clinical trials, sir?
You don't care about people in their...
Charlie Kirk actually tweeted this one. Now listen, I've only got a minute left. Let me address the pink elephant in the room, pun intended. A lot of people here have come up to me and they say, but I'm afraid, okay? And I just want to address this here and now. This is what I got to say about this. I've had people say, I don't want to get involved because Charlie was murdered, and I'm afraid, and I don't want that to happen to me. Just like JFK 60 years ago, if they can kill a president, they can kill you. If they can kill Charlie Kirk, they can kill me and you. And, you know, who knows, that may or may not happen. But Charlie went out the best way a man can go out, valiantly, courageously, and bravely. And the way I see it is this. The way I see it is this. And I'm going to say something that might make you feel uncomfortable, but it is the truth. We're all going to die. The outcome don't change. Except in one case, and I've been thought, maybe I should take a step back. I'll live comfortably. Maybe I'll live a few more decades. I don't know. But like a very brave man said in a movie that we all love, you know, dying in your bed many years from now, and by the way, you will die in shame, which is the worst way to die. What would you give for just one chance to come back here and work with James O'Keefe and wear a hidden camera and in 2026 expose the motherfuckers? I will see you tonight.